morning, America. Welcome back to Times Square, USA. I'm Diane Sawyer.
And I'm Charles Gibson. We do welcome you, and we're singing happy birthday. 100 years old.
You know, they did a survey which showed that there's a whole generation that, of course, knows Disney World, Disneyland. They had no idea that there was ever anybody named Disney.
That there was a Walt?
Right. Walt Disney was a real person? You mean there was a person?
Before the world, before the land, there was Walt.
That's right. And he would have been 100 years old this year, and the big celebration for his birthday is getting underway. And we sent our entertainment editor, Joel Siegel, down there, and we want to point out, as everybody knows, Walt Disney, the Disney Company is our parent company, but this is such a huge event, people flying in from all over for the big celebration.
They're having a big celebration, the Disney folks are, for Walt's 100th birthday, and well, they should. So we're going to cover that this half hour. Plus, what is it like for women married to the mob? We're going to talk in this half hour to the son of a mobster about what his mother had to face, what it was like when he was a mobster. He spent a third of his life in prison, but he is now out and writing novels. They are novels about the mob, but there's a lot of real life in those novels as well, and we will talk to him. But first, let's get the weather. Tony Perkins is down at the Disney MGM studios in Orlando. Tony?
And people are genuinely excited about this anniversary today, Charlie. Take a look at this. This is the latest lithograph. This is called 100 Years of Magic. It's a limited edition available for sale only to cast members, as they call them, the employees of the Disney Company. And this was done by Ducky Williams, one of the character illustrators, and he is here with us this morning.
Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us. You have drawn two different versions of Mickey Mouse that you've been drawing for many years. This is the original version?
That's the original version from the 20s and 30s.
And the current version
and the
of
current Mickey as you see him today.
Now, I want you to give me some tips on drawing Mickey. Which of these should I draw?
You should draw this one. It's easier. It's a dead-on view. You're going to start with a circle. Mickey is all circles and ovals.
Okay.
Start with a circle, oval for the eyes, oval for the nose, oval for the heart shape. Start with the eyes about halfway through the middle of your circle. Oval for the ears.
All right.
Let's see, take a go at it.
I'm going to try to do that. I'll start in just a moment. We'll reveal it later on towards the end of the show. Right now, I want you to take a look at what's happening with our weather conditions around the nation. We'll show you how things are going to be shaping up. Many folks are going to see fine weather today, but we will see some thunderstorm activity and some other precipitation across the northern plains into the upper Mississippi River Valley, eastern and central Great Lakes. Also in the northwest, unfortunately, it's the same old song, more rain, more mountain snows, more wind. That's a look what's happening with the weather around the nation. Now, here's what's happening in your neighborhood.
Your Wednesday afternoon looks to be partly cloudy with some gusty winds over along the beaches out of the northeast, anywhere from 75 in Titusville, 77 Daytona Beach to 80 degrees in Apopka.
That's my first effort. I'll keep trying. This weather report brought to you by Sparkle Paper Towels. If you want more weather information, go to our website at abcnews.com. Back to you now, Diane.
Tony, they don't have horizontal noses.
To plump it out a little bit.
Can we get a kid to come in and help him draw a nose there? Honestly. Well, not too far away from Tony is our Joel Siegel. He's at the Disney MGM studios at Disney World in Orlando, where more than a year-long party, as we've said, is getting underway. Hey, Joel.
Hey, Diane. I am here at the One Man's Dream exhibit in Orlando, and this is something I never thought I would ever see. Walt Disney built this himself 75 years ago to photograph the drawings that became Mickey Mouse. It's on loan from the Los Angeles County Museum of Natural History, and it is incredible. It's called an animation stand, but Disney used it as if it were a roulette wheel. Time and time again, he would risk everything on projects he believed in that nobody else thought could come true.
Plane Crazy was the first Mickey Mouse cartoon, but while Disney was trying to get it off the ground, talking films were invented. Crashed Plane Crazy and launched Steamboat Willie, the first sound cartoon. A few years later, he threw away a half-finished black and white cartoon to make the first cartoon in color. Against everybody's advice, he borrowed every nickel he could to create the first full-length animated feature. That won Walt one big Oscar and 7 little ones on display here in Orlando. The The next first he pulled out of his hat, Fantasia was the first film shown in stereophonic sound.
Who's the leader of the club that's made for you and me?
Disney was also the first Hollywood studio to be on television. He used TV revenues to finance another of his schemes, the first theme park.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Main Street looks a lot like the small town in Kansas Disney grew up in, and you can find the seeds of virtually everything he'd create in the things he loved as a child. As a schoolboy, he'd dress up as Abraham Lincoln, that's him, and recite the Gettysburg Address by heart. It's no accident Lincoln was Disney's first animatronic figure.
And part of this exhibit shows us how animatronic figures work. These were made before computers, literally thousands of moving parts, 77 years ago. Better with the beard.
His first film success, called Alice's Wonderland, mixed animation with live action, something he'd do again and even a little better when he created the classic Mary Poppins.
Oh, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Even though the sound of it is something quite atrocious, if you say it loud enough, you'll always sound precocious. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious.
Oh, you hear it?
And this, believe it or not, is the dress Julie Andrews wore in that scene from Mary Poppins. Mary Poppins is the culmination of Disney's art on film, mixing live action and animation brilliantly. But it's not the end of his dreams, which 100 years later are still coming true. This is the way Walt Disney presented his Florida project to the world. And this is Michael Eisner, the head of the Disney companies and our parent corporation. When are you going to be finished?
Never. Walt was the one that said that we were never completed, we're never finished, keeps going forever.
A question. If Disney were here today, what would be the first thing you would want him to see?
Well, after he finished criticizing and correcting and moving things to the right and left and asking if I really had spent enough time on the colors, I think I'd want him to see the animal kingdom, which is something that he never envisioned. The execution of Epcot, which he never lived to see. The Disney MGM Studios, which he didn't live to see. These are ideas. Take him to Tokyo to see Tokyo Disney Seas, which is something he never envisioned. Some of the things he hadn't done. Maybe take him to see monsters. You know, he'd never seen three-dimensional animation.
Right.
So he was the inventor of the two-dimensional animation, but the technology movement and he'd like the comedy. He'd understand like how John Lasseter, who did that movie, is the most similar to Walt Disney.
Really?
Oh, he's that same kind of silliness and sensibility.
I interviewed a whole bunch of kids about who Walt Disney was, and I got what a Walt Disney was. I got one kid said a flower, somebody said a tree, somebody said a man. His name was Disney. Most of the kids were sure his name was Mickey Mouse Disney. What can you tell us about Disney the man? What surprised you learning about Disney?
Just a attention to detail beyond anything that you can imagine. A maniacal desire to make everything better, to throw out mediocrity, and a sense of humor. I mean, the guy was funny. He was a regular guy. And in our movie, we went back. We have a movie here about him, and we went back to show that it's not all beautiful. He went broke. He had a tough time. The war came. It wiped him out. He had no foreign sales. Europe was closed down during the Second World War. And how he survived and built up again, and then survived, and then fell down again, and kept succeeding through enormously talented works of art.
Well, one thing, as a film critic, in a 6-year span, he released like 5 of the greatest movies ever, starting with Snow White, Bambi, Pinocchio, Fantasia, Dumbo. That's incredible. How did he get all of this done?
I think he had been a pent-up creativity through his shorts and his silly symphonies, but then when he got these great projects done that we now remember as the greatest works of all time, they didn't all succeed. I mean, Fantasia was a bust, so it doesn't always work. But it
works eventually.
Yes, if you wait long enough. Fantasia, just tell you quickly this, Lillian Disney, his widow, called me on the 50th anniversary of Fantasia when we went in video. I said, it finally made money. And she said, that Walt, I always hated Fantasia, but he was always right. He was always right, that guy.
Last thing, in a sentence, how do you describe Walt Disney's legacy on his 100th birthday?
I think the fact that we're all here trying to do really good work, that his spirit of quality and moral compass and and just being a great citizen. It's a great kind of guiding light for us.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and happy birthday.
Thank you, Joel.
Back to Charlie and Diane.
All right. Thanks, Joel. Thanks, Michael Eisner. It's nice to know that wives always get the last word, even when they're admitting they were wrong.
We've been talking all morning long with Joel Siegel and Tony Perkins, who are down at Walt Disney World celebrating the 100th birthday of Uncle Walt, as we refer to him here. And Tony?
Yes, Tony has been trying to master 2 ears and a nose and some whiskers. How you doing?
I've done well. I'll show you mine in just a moment. Diane, at your suggestion, we got this young man up on stage. This is Jason from Chicago, 13 years old. Yep, show him your Mickey Mouse. He drew Mickey Mouse for the first time, and there, how about that, folks? Nice job. Do you like to draw?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do very well. Here is my version of Mickey, first time drawing, and I think I do. No, come on, no booing, no booing. This is Mickey on steroids, needs to lose a little bit of weight. Don, your evaluation of the 2 prints, pictures.
Jason, it looks great. Tony, kind of a combination of a mouse and a chipmunk, but not bad.
That's the best I could do. Back to you guys in New York.
Tony, the ears, you got to remember, they're evenly spaced. They're at the same place on both sides.
I know.